Hey guys, this is Ally Campbell, a student athlete at Winnemac Community High School, and you're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winnemac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. And now, the voice of the Winnemac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Hello. Welcome to episode 14 of the Winnemac Athletic Podcast, bringing you closer and closer to Winnemac Athletics, an inside look to the athletic program, communicating with players, coaches, Winnemac alums. How's it going, everyone? Jay Ruff in the house today for another glorious episode, getting down and deeper into the Winnemac fall season. Super happy for the lineup we have for you today. We do have three coaches going through their programs, their recent matchups, and then we have a student athlete join us today, and Ally Campbell, senior off the volleyball team. Let's do some updates here for soccer. They're in it. They are in sectionals as of right now. They just defeated North Miami 4-2 in the very first round. Pretty awesome stuff. Big goals from Sean Stark, who ended up with 3 goals. Craig ended up with 1. We had Hines with 2 assists, and the freshman Hoover ended up with 1. They're back at it tomorrow against a very good Lakeland Christian team. They are 12-5 currently. We played them about a month ago in September. They ended up beating us 7-0, but it's a brand new season now, and they go up against Lakeland Christian in the semifinals and sectional. Like I mentioned, tomorrow at Argus, 5 p.m. They're the first game. They are tomorrow night, so good luck to Coach Padaio and the soccer team for the semifinals for sectionals there. Cross country, they had some pretty good success last weekend. Last Saturday, the Hoosier North Athletic Conference, the girls ended up making it 5 in a row. Conference championships, no big deal, pretty awesome stuff. The boys ended up second by just a point. You know, like I mentioned, if Nathan was there, it would have been a different story. But they ended up running pretty good. Logan finished second. We do have Mikey Haschel join us today. He will go through the placings and stuff. But big shout out to Cadence Hoover, the Hoosier North Conference champion, her senior year. Pretty awesome stuff. That's back-to-back seasons now. We have had a Winnemac Warrior winning that conference individually. Maggie Smith did it last year. So pretty awesome stuff there for both the boys and girls programs. Next week, they're on a bye this week for cross-country. Next week, they will be at Rensselaer starting their sectional and regional and even on possibly journey there. And like I said, Mikey Ash will join us today to go in more depth with that convo. Volleyball, they had senior night last night. The North Judson, pretty awesome to recognize those seniors that we have. We have 2 players and 1 manager. They did end up falling, but last week they took on Argus, which they ended up winning, and they went to Attica for that invitational, going 2-1, and we do have Coach Caston on joining us today. She will talk about those matchups last week. She'll talk about last night's matchup against the Blue Jays, and then she will also talk about their sectional approaching. They do have 1 game this week. Coach Caston is traveling to her home in the Berry Bowl where she grew up, so good luck to Coach Caston going back there. They do play them Thursday, and then that's sectional times next Saturday, I do believe. So good luck to the volleyball team there. Again, like I mentioned, Coach Caston will talk about the sectional draw that happened a couple days ago. Football team took a trip to North Judson last week. ended up falling 48-6. Coach Burgess has joined us also today. He will talk about that game and also talk about their next opponent, another conference opponent, senior night for the Winamac Warrior football team. They take on the South Central Satellites. I do believe the last time we played South Central was back in 2020 during sectionals, and we ended up beating them 21-14. That was Coach Hendricks' first year as the head coach there, and they ended up winning sectionals that year. The following game, at the championship game, they beat North Judson. So good luck to Coach Burgess there. Like I mentioned, he will be on today, talk about his athlete of the week that he had last week and talk about the Satellites. So like I mentioned, we have a lineup of coaches and a student athlete join us today. So stay tuned. We'll start that lineup. First, we will have the Winamac Hall of Famer, Mikey Haschel, to communicate with us on what happened last week. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Cadence Hoover, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, like always, super thrilled to have a Hall of Famer in the house, the head coach of the Winamac cross country teams, Coach Mikey Haschel. How's it going, Mikey? Thanks again for joining us. Like always, you, my friend, you have a lot to talk about. Big things happened last Saturday at the Winamac Town Park, and you guys hosted Hoosier North Athletic Conference, and you guys did some pretty good things there, not only for high school, but for middle school as well. Mikey, help us dive deep into what happened last Saturday. That is your first and last meet here at Winamac, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened with the girls and boys teams, and who placed where, who got the Hoosier North honorable mention, all that fun stuff. Who won? Give us the breakdown, Mikey, of what happened at the conference last Saturday.
Hey, Justin. Yeah, HNAC went great for Saturday. But, the HNAC results, we had the girls team pull out the victory, and the boys team was second. We got Nate Prochowski. He's out with pneumonia, which we're kind of glad we found out what was going on so that he can hopefully be back to help us out in sectionals. But otherwise, Cadence Hoover was our individual champion in the girls race with Avery Wagner in third. Candace Croft was fifth. Claire Goodman was 11th. And Maddie Goodman was 19th. We had Brody Goodman behind her at 30th. And Merche Lamer at 31st. So the girls really kicked some butt. Maddie had herself a PR as well, so that was really cool. And the boys race, Logan was our runner-up for the race, with Dylan Guilford being fourth. Cannon Hoover was 10th. Joel Shalley 13th. Braylon Becker come out of the woodwork on this one and ran a huge PR for him at 20th, and we had Zephyr Perry at 23rd and Corbin Holohan at 26th. So, like I say, it was kind of rough because we did lose by 1 point, but given that every one of the boys ran a PR, really don't think we could have done this any other way. And Pioneer, they ran a pretty tough race. So all in all, it's a really great day.
Just awesome things, Mikey. Awesome things right there. And I do know I looked this up because I knew the number was getting high, but that is 5 conference championships in a row now for the girls that they have won. Just awesome things. That's one hand. Next year, we're going to have to move to the next hand, Mikey, and start counting on that next hand. It's just awesome things. Good things for the Winamac cross-country teams for the girls' side and the boys' side. I mean, they were right there. If we would have had Nathan, like you mentioned, it would have been a completely different ball game. But let's turn the page a little bit, Coach. And I know, like I mentioned, it was your first meet at home, and it was your last one. So let's just take a moment a little bit, Mikey, and talk about these seniors that you had, what they meant to the program for both the for both the boys and girls. I know you have some pretty big ones, pretty good kids there. So if you can, Mikey, let's talk about them a little bit and just overall what they have done this not only this year but in their career as a Winamac cross country runner.
Yeah, this senior class is a really special group. It's gonna be tough to see them go. I mean, with Dylan and Claire, Cadence, Merche, they've all brought their own unique talents to the team, and it's more than just how you run; it's how you act, how you interact with your team, and all of them have brought like that leadership. Even though, aside from Cadence, Claire and Dylan are 3-year runners, not having ran their freshman year, and Merche being her first year running cross, they've all just dove right into the role and acted as leaders. Obviously, with 3 versus 4 years, that's not a big tear, but it's pretty cool when you join the sport and just embrace it and motivate others to do what needs to be done. And it's like say it can be a grind, just knocking out miles day in and day out. And I haven't had any trouble with any of these kids getting workouts like on their own whenever need be, and the off season and stuff like that. Half the time I'm telling them back off because they're trying to do too much. So it's gonna be real tough to see these kids go.
Pretty awesome bunch there. Pretty awesome group of seniors. Well, let's move on to sectionals, Coach. I know you have pretty much this week. You have a bye week, and the next week is sectional time. Let's break down for us, if you can, Coach, what your schedule looks like this week, since you guys don't have anything. What your practice schedule looks like, and also your training as a coach, Mikey. What do you do in this situation when you don't have anything going on this week? Next week's the biggest one on your schedule. So what's the training look like if you're a Winamac coach and Mikey Haschel? What do you do, Coach, in this situation? Break down the schedule for the cross-country teams these next 2 weeks, Mikey.
Well, our main goal is going to be trying to stay healthy. I mean, we've got one more week where we can do work that we will see the dividends for, and then it's a week of just, full taper, be as completely rested and ready to race as possible. Obviously, the get healthy and or be healthy is kind of the name of the game right now. We've got some folks that are sick, and we got to hopefully, come into next week, with a level of health, and then try and maintain that fitness. So like you say, that this 2-week period is really just focusing on the small things and making sure that we can make it to the finish line. I mean, they are all laughing at my phrase I used earlier this week, which is the hay is in the barn. The work has been done. So that's kind of the case. We put in all the miles, we put in all the workouts, and now it's just, let's not do anything that can knock us off the pedestal that we've built. So it should be kind of a gradual downhill slope, turn into a slightly more of a grade there in the next week. So that's kind of the plan.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. Hey, best of luck next week. I know we will have you on next week's episode, of course, but just best of luck with the training and getting the kids prepared and everything like that. One question I have, one comment that I need from you, Coach, before we take off. I communicated with you Saturday during the meet, and I looked at your face, Coach, and you had some type of like glitter or pink stars or something on there. I just thought, hey, it was, it felt like a good day to wear that. I don't know. I didn't, and then, I don't know if you were forced to wear it, or they just, we're not going to run until you put this on, Coach. I don't know what it was. So can you communicate with us on what you had on your face and what happened there, and any other last words or comments you have for us today, Coach?
Well, as always, I want to ask everybody that's available and willing at the end of a fall break to come down to or over to Rensselaer there and cheer on the Warriors at the sectionals here in about 2 weeks. As far as the shimmering or glitter or whatever you might be talking about, I don't know. I'm not remembering anything like that. I know the girls team likes to wear glitter on their face, but that just doesn't seem like something I would do. So I'm not sure what you would have saw there. Like say maybe the sun was just shining weird, or I was just glowing because it was conference day. But yeah, maybe your eyes are deceiving you there, Justin. Once again, thanks for having us. And if you give me a holler next week, I guess all I can really tell you is that hopefully we're getting rested, because next weekend's going to be a chill one. Thanks again. See ya.
Pretty awesome stuff from the Winamac cross country coach, Coach Mikey Haschel. Hey, thanks again, Coach. Just awesome conversation with him, like always. Hey, next up, we do have a little surprise to bring on this show. We have the senior Hoosier North Conference champion join us today, Cadence Hoover. How's it going, Hoover? First of all, congratulations. You kicked butt out there. You did very well. Let's talk about just the overall course on your side. First of all, I mean, it's a home course. You're familiar with it. But just talk about that day and how you ended up on top Saturday at the Hoosier North Conference Championship.
Yeah, so the course is super easy. It's all flat. There's really no hills or grass or anything. So again, like I said, it was pretty easy. And then my first mile started off really fast, which wasn't that great going into my third mile because I carried it on for my second mile. But then after that, I kind of went downhill, but it all worked out because then after that, I could just kind of cruise considering there wasn't anyone that was that close to me.
That's awesome, Hoover. And refresh our memories, if you will. Compared to last year, what was your time and your placing? I know Maggie Smith finished first at the conference championship, but what place did you get and what time did you get? And just to see how much you've gotten better from last year, Hoover.
Yeah, so last year I got fourth with a time of 21:04. And then this year I got first with a time of 20:47, which was really close to my PR actually. And that is a 17-second difference from last year.
That's awesome, Hoover. Hey, okay, you just completed step number 1. That's winning conference championship for your team and overall individually. What is the next goal for Cadence Hoover and the Winamac girls cross country team?
My next personal goals are to PR at sectionals and hopefully break 20:30. And then my goals for our team are for us, obviously, to go on to regionals and hopefully place top 3 at sectionals.
Stay tuned. We will have Coach Josh Burgess with us. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Talon Garner, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, super thrilled once again to have the head coach of the Winamac football team and Coach Josh Burgess with us today. How's it going, Coach? Thanks a lot for joining us. You have a lot to talk about. You took on the Blue Jays last week. You guys fell 48-6. Let's talk about that game, Coach. I do know this is probably a stat that you don't really care about, but I do know we're the first team to score on North Judson since week 1. But let's talk about the Blue Jays in that game before we move on to this week.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for having me on. We were able to take on North Judson last week, and we did fall 48-6. Obviously, we go into every game hoping that we can get a W. But I was happy with our kids and their effort. You wouldn't think there were a lot of positives with a 48-6 game. Judson, though, has a really strong team. They're number 1 ranked in the state for a reason. I thought our kids competed really well. I was a lot happier with our effort compared to the previous week with North Miami. We were able to get some things done offensively. We rolled some younger kids in, and they played well too. So obviously some things we need to continue to work on and correct. But I thought overall as a team, our effort was better, and that's going to do well for us as we approach the back end of the season to start thinking about the tournament here in a couple weeks.
That's awesome, Coach. And another thing we need to talk about before we dive into this week's matchup, let's talk about your athlete of the week that was announced last week. He was athlete of the week last week, and that would be your senior Aiden Schooler. He was named with some others as the athlete of the week last week. Let's talk about him. I know he was put on the spot, really, someone that you really trusted to fill in for our freshman quarterback, Xavier. But let's just talk about that move with him and how he's really adapted. And to my eyes, in the two games that he played, he did very well. Someone that you trusted. And you know what? As a senior, as in for a coach, I mean, that is absolutely fantastic that you can throw a senior in there that's never played that position before in his career. You throw him out there, North Miami, 2 road games. You throw them out there, one of our rivals, and, he did the job. He did what he was supposed to do. I'm sure that was one of the many reasons why he was athlete of the week last week. Let's talk about your senior Aiden Schooler, Coach.
Yeah, I thought for being in a tough spot, Aiden really responded well. As you said, he's never played quarterback before at any level, but he's athletic, he's smart, and we figured he could do a pretty good job running the offense for us, and he did. Really happy with how he responded in a tough situation. I thought he got better this week compared to last week against North Miami, but really did everything we asked him to do. He ran the offense and got us through both those games, so we're very pleased with him. And his effort and his willingness to be a team player and to help us out.
That's awesome, Coach. And again, I love knowing the kid, Schooler, and I love seeing him going out there and doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's a fantastic thing. All right, let's move on to this week's matchup. You take on the Satellites, first time that they are in our conference that we play them. This is senior night. There's only 2 games left, Coach. This is our last home game against South Central. Let's talk about the Satellites and what needs to happen, what you know about them, and what needs to happen for us to leave the season, leave the home field with a win this year.
Yeah, South Central presents some different challenges than what we've had the last 3 weeks. We faced a lot of run-heavy teams with Triton, North Miami, and North Judson. South Central is going to spread it out. Last week, they had a backup quarterback that came in and threw for 387 yards against North Miami. So again, just a different type of challenge for us defensively than what we've experienced here the last couple weeks. Their defense is pretty aggressive. They're kind of a 4-3, 5-2 team that gets downhill. So we'll definitely have some challenges there. And like you said, it's a big night for us with senior night. We've got 4 seniors and 4 senior managers that we want to honor and send out in the right way. So we're going to have a good week of practice. We've got some things, as always, we need to get cleaned up. Here's as we approach the back half of the season and start thinking about not only the last 2 regular season games, but also the sectional, which is coming up as well. So we're excited for the opportunity, excited to be back home, and really looking forward to the challenges South Central brings on Friday night.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks a lot for joining us. Like I mentioned, we have 2 regular season games left till this season's over. I can't, it's wild that that's even a thing, but I really appreciate you jumping on every week, talking with us, giving us updated on everything on your squad. Do you have any last words or comments for us, Coach?
Yeah, as always, Justin, thanks for what you're doing. We really appreciate you getting the word out about our team and our kids. Can't thank you enough for the coverage.
Once again, thanks a lot, Coach. That was the head coach of the Winamac football team, Coach Josh Burgess. Next up, we will have the head coach of the Winamac volleyball team, Coach Caston. She will talk about her squad and what they did last week at the Attica Invitational, what they did yesterday against the North Judson Blue Jays, and what is ahead in their schedule this week. And also, we will also talk about their sectional draw. That was Sunday. Big things for the Winamac volleyball team in communications with the head coach, Coach Casson. So I'll be right back. She's up next. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Lindsay, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, super thrilled to have on once again the head coach of the Winamac volleyball team, Coach Heather Caston. How's it going, Coach? Thanks again for joining us today. You have a lot to go over today. Not only your future and what just happened on Sunday when it comes to your sectional draw. However, you need to talk about what happened last week. You guys traveled to your last invite, I do believe, in Attica. Looked like you picked up a couple wins there. So let's talk about that invitational, Coach. And let's talk about what happened yesterday as senior night against the Blue Jays at home. So you had a few games that we need to talk about, Coach, and just go ahead and tell us how they all went.
Hey, Justin. Yeah, we have had quite the week this past week. Tuesday, we picked up a win against Argus for our Blackout Panther night. It was our first three-set win of the season, so that was pretty exciting. JD and Varsity both did a great job. Both pulled out wins. We had a great turnout for our Blackout Panther night, so that was super exciting for us. Then Thursday, we traveled to Rochester, and we took a set, but couldn't take the whole match. We won the third set, 25-23, but dropped the first two in that fourth set. Obviously, they had some height, they had some good things and stuff, but we were able to turn it around, get some time in the gym Friday morning before we headed off to Attica on Saturday. That was our first time in our invite, and it was pretty competitive for us. I think that's something that maybe in a couple years we probably will be out of, just because they were some competition that maybe we'll grow out of here soon with the way things are rolling for us. But for the year we're having, I think that it was a great confidence booster. We were able to work on some things in game-like situations, and we ended up dropping to the tournament winners, West Vigo County, which is like Fair Hope area. They took the whole tournament. We dropped our first few sets to them, and then turned around, cleaned some things up. We played Providence Costa Ray out of Indianapolis, and we beat them in 25-18, 25-12. And then we had a little bit of a break, which is always rough when it comes to volleyball. The longer you sit, the colder you get. So a little nervous coming out against the home team in the last set after that one first, but we were able to turn it on and played probably the best game of the week, actually. Not just the tournament, but for us that week, I think the Attica game was definitely our best. We ended up taking 2 sets, 25-17, 25-22. And that second set, I mean, they gave us a run for our money. They had some good swings, they had some very smart plays, and we read the ball well. We kept the ball in play. We were able to rattle off some serves and string points together. So super proud of how they did at that tournament. Rick Iverson ended up with 17 kills for the day. Brooke Rouse had double-doubles. She was 10 kills and 17 digs. Miley Foster contributed 9 kills that day, and our defense was just awesome. Maggie Keller had 8 aces and 24 digs. Ally Campbell had 13 digs and 4 aces. But I think the highlight was we had to have Grace Rock step in and run as a setter for us that tournament. We came out and played at Rochester, filled in for Lindsay Walters. She had some medical stuff going on and wasn't able to be released for Thursday's game or for Saturday's tournament. So Grace stepped in with all the confidence in the world and ran that betting position for us and did a fantastic job. I mean, we had 42 assists for the weekend, which is phenomenal in those 3 sets. So super proud of her. She was very focused and did a wonderful job. Last night we came out against North Judson. Senior night, always emotional. Usually pretty tough for us to get refocused for that first set, but we ended up taking our set from them. We won our third set, like our best set for some reason, but ended up losing in 4. So, very emotional. Made some tweaks along the way, especially with some great things that we saw from the weekend, and that helped. I think that's what got us that third set. Everybody just, took on the roles that they needed to and did a great job, but it just was too late in the game for us. So looking forward to coming out Thursday against Logan Sport and having a good showing down there at the Berry Bowl. It's always a fun place to play, going back to my roots, going back home, but hoping to leave a mark this time. So we'll see what Thursday brings.
That's awesome stuff, Coach. Let's go ahead and turn the page and talk about your seniors. Like I mentioned, yesterday was senior night. You have 2 players and also a senior manager in Camden Long. So you have Ally Campbell and Lindsay Walters, and then a manager in Camden Long. So let's go ahead and talk about them, Coach. Big holes to fill for next year, but just overall, what they have done so far in this season and in their careers here in the Winnemac volleyball program.
Yes, we had our awesome seniors recognized last night at senior night. We have our senior manager, Camden Long, and I am so happy that his journey brought him to us this year. It's his first year managing, but we could not have asked for a more easygoing, more fun-loving person to help us manage our crazy crew of girls. He is doing anything and everything he can to make his senior year memorable, and that includes play practice, volleyball practice, our games, family stuff, school work. He's a super busy guy, but he shows up, he cares for our girls, does what I need him to do, and helps make things a lot easier. So his sense of humor and smile are going to be missed for sure. And then we've got Lindsay and Ally. They've been rocks for me these past 4 years, whether it was speaking, AD, varsity, wherever I had them, they were always people that I knew I could count on to do what I asked them to do. And I'm sad to see him go. You stick with these girls for as long as I have. They started club with me in middle school. I've been watching them grow since, 6th, 7th grade. They were friends with my daughter, so it's hard losing girls like that. It's never easy. So I'm sad that it wasn't the ending I wanted last night, but I think that they did a great job of doing what we needed them to do and be leaders where we needed them to lead. And they in fact carried that into sectionals next week. I tell them all the time, that's what we're playing for. Everything else is just practice. Sectionals is where it counts. So we've got a little over a week to prepare, and I think they can help us do it.
That's awesome stuff, Coach. Let's go ahead and turn the page and talk about the future a little bit when it comes to sectionals. Like I said a couple days ago on Sunday, you had a sectional draw, and it looks like we ended up drawing the Jimmies out of Jimtown, a team that we've never played before. Now, stop me if I'm wrong, Coach. I don't believe that we've played any of these teams that are in the sectional. I could be mistaken there, but all these teams I don't feel like we've seen face-to-face before. So let's just talk about, how you felt about the sectional draw overall, Coach, and what you know and will need to know about the Jimtown Jimmies that we go up against them next week, I do believe.
So yeah, speaking of our sectional, we drew Jimtown. We are going to be up at Knox next Thursday. We'll play the second game, so we'll immediately follow that LaVille and Breeding game on Thursday night. And we are at a little bit of disadvantage, I guess. Jimtown has played everybody in our sectional. They have beaten LaVille and Knox. They're 1-1 with Bremen. They lost to them one match, beat them another later in the season. They've beaten South End Career Academy. I have not seen her, so we're going to be that surprised, I think. It should be good. They're 11-14 on the season. I don't think anyone in our sectional actually has a record over 500. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Depending on who they plays, it could be tough season for them, or it could be a tough schedule. You never know, especially with those teams a little bit farther north. We don't get up that way. I know that we did have LaVille and Knox in our conference this past year, so we did not see them this year, but I don't think they gained a ton. I know of what they lost, so that's going to be a little helpful. We can go back and watch some old film there. And we did get to see Knox this summer in the North Central Indiana Summer League that we play in, so I didn't see anything that I didn't already know about, and a few other girls played club for me, so we kind of have some intel there. But I think when we play Jimtown, as long as we come out and play the way we know how to play and trust our teammates and have some enthusiasm and focus, we're going to be playing Saturday night. So our second match would be Saturday morning against South End Career Academy, And then the winner of that Laville Bremen game Thursday will go on to play Knox. And then whoever comes out of that Knox match will play us, hopefully. So looking forward to a long but successful week next week.
That's awesome, Coach. Well, hey, best of luck. We will have you on before then, hopefully, to talk about more sectional time. But, hey, Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Do you have any last words or comments before you take off?
Just want to remind everybody to come out next Thursday to knock and support our girls. It's not a far drive. We've been lucky the last 2 years to have sectionals that are within good driving distance. So hopefully we can get a pretty good fan base. It's always nice to walk into knock and have our fans in the crowd cheering us on and supporting us. So if you don't have anything going on, we'd love to see you there.
Hey, thanks once again, Coach. That was the head coach of the Winamac volleyball team, Coach Heather Casta. Next up, we will have a volleyball athlete join us today, and that will be Ally Campbell, the senior for the volleyball squad. She will be jumping on, communicating with her and with us about her season so far this year and her past as a volleyball athlete. So stay tuned. You're going to hear from Campbell. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
It's time for the Warrior Athlete of the Day. Let's return to the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, super thrilled to have a student athlete off the Winamac volleyball team. And today, it is the senior, Ally Campbell. Campbell, how's it going? Thanks a lot for joining us today. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay. And we have a lot of questions to ask you. But first, Campbell, let's dig into what all you are involved in. Any activities in other sports other than volleyball that you're currently in your high school days.
Yeah, so I'm a basketball manager, and I also run track, and I do 100-meter hurdles and pole vault.
Oh, pole vault, yeah. You're pretty good at pole vault.
No.
Oh, you're not? Well, you're all right.
All right.
All right. And you're in drama, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Pretty cool stuff. Let's dig into your volleyball career, Campbell. Let's talk about your role this year on the volleyball team.
All right, so I'm a co-captain with Lindsay Walters, the other senior on the team, and then I'm a right side, and I play basically all the way around opposite Lindsay.
Have you been playing that your whole career?
No, I was a middle back for Haley Eidinger my sophomore year, and then my freshman year, it was like all weird because of COVID, and I kind of played JV and a little bit of varsity.
What's your favorite position team? You have one?
I like playing right side. I like being a middle back, though. I don't know, it felt cool as a sophomore, I guess.
Yeah. Your sister played, and she was a setter, correct? Yeah, she was a pretty good setter, if I can remember. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. You were probably better, right?
I am.
All right, let's get to know your team a little bit, Campbell. Of course, you being a senior captain, I want to know some of these questions, and I know I was thinking, who should I ask? Oh, I have Campbell. I'll ask her. She knows. So let's ask you some of these questions, Campbell. Who is on the team this year? Who is the most vocal on your team?
I'm going to have to say Audrey Dickinson. Whether she's on the court or off the court, she's always cheering everyone on. She's 100% for the team. Like, she never plays individually. She's
Good team player.
Good team player.
Is she loud?
Yes.
Okay, in a good way.
In a good way. Very vocal.
Very positive vocal
Yes.
leader. Awesome. Good thing to have right there, especially for your team. Let's move on to the opposite of that. Who is the most shyest player on your team?
Okay. I'm going to say Brooke Roush, but like not in like a, I don't know.
Not in a bad way.
No.
Yep, she gets the job done.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I can relay. I can agree with you. Having coached her, she is a very shy individual, but she is coachable and she gets the job done. I think she's one of the, along with Iverson, one of the best players on your team that leads in kills. Right?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the most coachable player on your team other than yourself, of course, Campbell.
Right now, I'm thinking Ava Malcolm,
Ava Malcolm.
just because she never stops swinging, even if she makes a mistake. And when she does make a mistake, she asks Heather for like what she's doing wrong. She's always looking for advice from Heather and Maggie on how to hit, like how to get better, how to improve her hitting.
Were you like that all as a freshman?
No.
No. So it's definitely, I would say, well, that's probably because of freshman, but no, it's just Malcolm.
Yeah.
Right? That's all right. Hey, give us some volleyball traditions that you've been a part of. Heck, you're old now, right? You're a senior. You've been through this for 4 years. What are some of the volleyball traditions that you've done before in the past, or you've continued to do this year?
So we haven't done it this year, but at the end of the season, there's like a JV tournament at Culver. And after that, we always have a team lunch at Poblanos.
And team lunch. You know what? I think Walter said something about Poblanos team lunch with you
I
guys.
think we do it more than once, but we just haven't gotten around to it this year.
Got it. Well, that's awesome. Let's I want to hear some funny, enjoyable inside info, Campbell. What do you have that not a lot of people see that have happened that, was hilarious or embarrassing or funny inside the volleyball team?
Well, towards the beginning of the season, obviously our team is, I would say it's pretty young. We have 2 starting freshmen, so we're just kind of getting to know each other and like we're improving our team chemistry, and we were always like tripping into each other just because we didn't know. I don't know. We didn't like understand how each other, I don't know.
Right.
And like I was serving, I tripped into Audrey. I punched Grace in the face on accident.
Accidental. Yeah.
A game at one point.
This happened during a game.
Yeah.
So
It was a free ball, and I didn't know she was right there, and I whipped around and I punched her in the face.
So are you sure she didn't like steal your milk at lunchtime? This was accidental.
It was accidental.
Okay.
100%.
All right, but you punched her in the face accidentally, and you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
I can't see you getting embarrassed, Campbell. That does make sense. That's awesome, though. Good inside info. That's what I wanted. Good for you. You nailed that one. That was a good one. Sectional time is approaching, Campbell. It is sectional draw is this Sunday. Are you guys doing anything? Getting together?
The girls are coming to my house and we're gonna watch a movie, and then we're all gonna meet up at Tippy's with Heather to watch the second.
What's the movie selection? Do you have a?
I think they want to watch Hocus Pocus.
Oh, beautiful movie. Good movie.
Miracle Season.
That's true. Because sectional draw, what needs to happen from your point of view? Leader, captain. What needs to happen for your team to do well at this year's sectional, Campbell?
I think we're doing better recently, but trusting each other, I would say, not playing as individual. We got into a little rut where we were playing as individuals at one point, so coming together, trusting each other on the court, like trusting our defense, like we're always covering our hitters, like just trusting that we're there, I'd say.
I feel like you put more pride on your defense. I feel like your defense has improved compared to last year. I know Coach Caston agrees, so that's pretty awesome. Let's move on to your favorite or best memory about being on the volleyball team the last 4 years, Campbell. Best or favorite memory?
I just filled out my form today for senior night.
Oh, asking the same question.
Yeah.
So we get to hear this before it's released.
Yeah. Okay, so last year, I think it was after a loss, so I don't know why we were doing this, but last year, me and Reagan, I won't say if it was in the school parking lot or not, okay? We went out to her car, and I was videotaping her doing a burnout in her Jeep, and her door flew off her Jeep, like in a parking lot, and she didn't even notice. And in the video, you can hear my little Peter, like my feet, like running up to, like, no, Reagan, your door just flew off. And
Her let me get this straight. Her car door flew off.
Yeah, she has a Jeep, so like the doors can come off.
Oh, okay, I get you. And she didn't know.
And she just didn't
And you had it on videotape.
Yeah, I do.
And you still do.
Yeah, I do.
And it's not in the school parking lot.
I won't say.
Okay. Well, that's fun. A good little memory. No big deal. Let's move on to your next question. What has, Campbell, being a volleyball athlete taught you in your 4 years?
Okay, so up until like middle school and even high school, I was a gymnast for a really long time. And that's obviously an individual sport. So I would say it taught me how to be a team player.
Good.
Yeah.
I like it. See, that wasn't that hard. Do you have any last words for us today, Campbell?
Can't wait to beat the Jays on Monday.
There you go. Okay, I like it. Hey, that was great. Great combo with the senior athlete on the volleyball team, Ally Campbell, for being our guest today. Another big shout out to our 3 coaches that jumped on with us today, Coach Burgess, Coach Caston, and Coach Mikey Haschel. Best of luck to your squads as we get closer and closer to sectional play. Another big shout out to our sponsors. We have Sander Foods, First Federal Savings Bank, Action Plumbing and Heating, and Riverside Rentals. Another big shout out to them for sponsoring this show. Hey, can't thank you enough for listening to this podcast. It's been a fun, enjoyable moment as we get closer and closer to the winter season, and we're approaching the end of the fall season, but not just yet that we're done. Pretty soon we will have the rest of our coaches on to talk about sectional play, and we will, of course, be having another Throwback Thursday episode. We will give you a date and the guest for that Throwback Thursday episode. Hey, you did it. You listened to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. Riverside Rentals. Enjoy canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. We would like to thank our sponsors for sponsoring today's show and being part of the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey, guys.
Campbell.
Pause.